Vater hatte, denn ich wuchs ohne Männer auf. Er meinte, du kannst dir deinen Vater aussuchen.
And he said, well, you know, you can choose your father.
Wow. This is slick. This is really different than your other place.
Yeah, I like it a lot better.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Unbelievable. You got a balcony?
Mm-hmm. The cats love that.
Kitchen? Mm-hmm. Well, show me the rest.
Okay. And I spent a couple of days thinking about that.
Ein paar Tage lang überlegte ich, ob ich Scary bitten könnte, mein Vater zu sein. Der Gedanke machte mir Angst, denn er hätte mich ja zurückweisen können. Aber irgendwann nahm ich all meinen Mut zusammen und fragte ihn, möchtest du mein Vater sein? Und er sagte, ja, klar.
I got up enough guts to say, will you be my dad? And he said, yeah, of course.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
That's the first one I ever did.
And this one is new.
Yep.
And this technique, now, did you see this somewhere else, or did you come up with this?
I just came up with it, well, you know, growing up around people who sew all the time.
Yeah.
And I like the metaphor of tension, and the tension that's holding this together. Like, one little sliver of this could go, and the whole thing could fall apart. Absolutely.
Cool.
I think it was my point to grow. When Scary came into my life, and
es war an der Zeit, erwachsen zu werden, als Scary in mein Leben trat. Er half mir, Dinge anders zu sehen und schwere Entscheidungen zu treffen. Er machte mir Mut und gab mir Selbstvertrauen. Und er umarmte mich immer mal, wenn ich down war oder Angst hatte.
And he was there to help me make those decisions and give me encouragement and give me a hug every once in a while when I was getting down and getting kind of scared. Scary
hat keine Angst, die Wahrheit zu sagen. Wer die nicht hören will, der sollte sich von ihm fernhalten. Er sagt sie dir ins Gesicht. Auch wenn es dir nicht passt. Du kriegst sie trotzdem zu hören.
Even if you don't want to hear it, you still need to hear it. Yeah.
Because I tell kids this, I tell them this, do not live in your victimhood. If you have been a victim as a child, your mom's neglectful, your dad's a drunk, he's a drug addict, he's beating you, he's doing whatever it is. Do me a favor, guys. Don't live in your victimhood. Don't act out to get your needs met. Do what I did when I lost my dad. I wrote him off. My dad basically left my family 25 years ago, never to hear from him again.
Mein Vater verließ meine Familie vor 25 Jahren und wir hörten nie wieder von ihm. Ich schaute damals in den Spiegel und fragte mich, womit ich das verdient hatte. Ich gab mir die Schuld und stellte alles Mögliche an, um Aufmerksamkeit zu erregen. Aber eines Tages entschied ich, mein Vater war derjenige, der wegging. Es ist sein Problem. Ich bin geblieben und ich bin okay. Und ich beschloss, ich brauche einen Vater.
And I decided I needed a dad. I picked out a guy named Honest John. He was an ex-ambulance driver in New York City. So I walked right up to Honest John. I said, Honest John, would you be my dad? He goes, what? I said, yeah, I don't have a dad, Honest John. Would you? Are you sure? I said, yeah, and we were like father and son. We'd talk, and he would be my dad, and it was really cool. He cared about what we were doing, traveling around, taking care of things. Then I didn't think much of it. Didn't really mean much. Just he was my dad, big deal. Until this happened 2 years ago. We were in South Dakota, my wife and I, we were in a hotel hanging out, and all of a sudden the phone rings. And it's Honest John's daughter. She goes, Honest John died. And I went, what? Yeah, he got cancer 2 weeks ago. He didn't want to bother anybody. She said the only request he had is that Scary Guy's 8x10 was put in his coffin with him. That's when I realized it worked.
Ich bin so etwas wie Scary Guys Manager. Das hat sich in den letzten 4 Jahren so ergeben. Damals lernte ich Scary Guy in meiner Radiosendung kennen. Anfangs war es schwierig, Schulen zu überreden, Scary Guy einzuladen. Ich sagte denen, ich habe gerade so einen Typen im Radio getroffen. Er ist von oben bis unten tätowiert, er ist gepierst und er ist Amerikaner. Möchten Sie ihn buchen? Die Schulleiter schauten natürlich, als sei ich vollkommen durchgeknallt. You can imagine the head teachers just looked at me like I was completely crazy. Wir suchten nach Möglichkeiten, emotionale Intelligenz in der Schule zu fördern. Die Pinder School hat eine schwierige Vergangenheit. Ihr Niveau war das niedrigste der Gegend. Das Verhalten der Schüler war ziemlich problematisch. Wir mussten erst das Verhalten in den Griff kriegen. Das gelang auch. Aber wir wollten erreichen, dass die Schüler sich selbst im Griff haben. Und das mussten wir irgendwie rüberbringen. Natürlich hätten wir uns hinstellen können und erzählen, wie toll Selbstbeherrschung ist. Aber das wäre wohl kein Knaller gewesen. Stattdessen kamen wir auf Scary Guy. Wir hatten einen Flyer und schauten auf seine Website. Na, und weil er ziemlich furchterregend aussah, sagten wir, das riskieren wir. Gerade hier in England ist Scary natürlich außergewöhnlich. Wenn man Typen wie ihn sieht, wechselt man die Straßenseite. Aber wenn er spricht, wirkt er fast wie ein Billy Graham ohne die Religion. Ihn und seine Mission umgibt etwas von einem Prediger. Und das finden wir sehr wirkungsvoll. In einer Schule mit Mobbing und Gewalt muss einer sehr charismatisch sein, um es mit den starken Figuren aufzunehmen, die über die Medien in die Kinderzimmer gelangen. To challenge those strong figures who are coming through the media into the children's homes.
What do you got going on?
Well, when I first met you, I was like picked on constantly at school. I'd have people flicking things at the back of my head in class, kicking me on the way out in PE. I could never go into the changing rooms. I refused to do PE because it was that bad in the changing rooms. And they can't exactly have anybody in there watching us and that, getting changed and everything, so I kind of used to get really, really, really angry during lessons. There was one time when I actually kicked a table and it flew over and almost hit somebody because they'd been picking on us that much. I just got so angry, and then I was at the point where I could have just done something really, really stupid.
Teachers, they always say stuff that I don't need to do.
Like, what is it that you think you're doing that they don't like?
So, when you go talk to your mates and stuff, they shout at you and stuff and send you out. So I retaliate back, and then I get excluded or put in isolation.
Hang on a minute, let me get clear on that, okay? Do you do that a lot? Talk while the teacher's talking?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't know.
What class do you do that in?
Mostly English, that's just up there.
Mostly English?
And I ain't been going to English for a couple of months.
Say that again?
I ain't been going to English for a couple of months.
You don't like English?
Don't do any school lessons hardly anymore.
Did any of them ever really truly beat on you? Try to beat on you in a circle once?
There was one point where I was actually put in hospital because somebody had hit me because they thought, I'm not sure if it was a mistake or they were just making up some reason to do it, but apparently they'd seen me beating on their little sister or something when I didn't even know who the person was or who their sister was, and she turned round and hit me 3 times in the nose, which I think broke my nose slightly there, and then it kept bleeding, and I got a nasty hit on the side of my head, and that put me in hospital overnight, and I kept having constant nosebleeds after that, which put me in hospital again to have it operated on to get it fixed. So it was pretty bad. Yeah.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was...
And how did you feel about yourself then? Personally inside, how did you feel?
I could just shrivel up and die or something. I wanted to be away from everybody.
You don't do any school lessons anymore? How come?
Fighting or...
Hold on, fighting?
Yeah.
Who do you fight?
People who calls me names or something.
So you react to them right away?
Yeah.
There's not much thinking going on?
Mum always tells me to count to 10 or something, but it don't work.
You don't even get to 1, do you?
No.
Right. Did you ever have an opportunity to speak to your mom and dad about all of this?
Well, I did, but it was just I felt really... I didn't want to talk to them about it because I just felt embarrassed in a way.
So you didn't really talk to your mom and dad about the whole problem?
Nah, I couldn't really talk to my dad at all.
Do you have control over your teacher? Do you have control over your mom? Do you have control over any of the boys? Who do you have control over?
Myself.
You?
Yeah.
If they're running their mouth with negative words, I don't care what they say to me, guess what I'm going to do? Not take it in. It's your body, they're your ears, and it's your brain. And you can choose what you want inside your body. That's what I do. Because look at me. You know what I get, don't you? I get a lot of negative stuff coming at me. And I don't take any of it on unless I like it or I want it for me. And then I go, hey, that's cool, thanks. All the other stuff is not mine. That's how I function every day. What I'm saying is, we need to take and look at what you're taking in. That's even more important. Because none of that stuff is yours and you don't have to prove it to anybody. You with me?
Yeah.
What do you think is the difference between you then and you now? What has happened?
Well, it's like I'm a completely different person now. Then I was angry all the time. I hated a lot of people. And I mean, it's a strong word to say, but I did. Mm-hmm. But now I don't. It's like I say, well, instead of listening to what they were saying, I kind of just remembered what you were saying about negative energy and just think, oh, well, it's their problem, not mine. And I did think that all the time then. And now I don't even need to think that. Just say, well, it's not my problem and walk away.
Dude, how are you? What are you doing? Do you got a letter for me?
Yeah.
Look at this letter. Can I read it now or do you want me to read it later?
You can read it now.
Okay.
A miracle to me that, I mean, there's a young boy.
Das ist ein Wunder für mich. Ein Junge hier in Scarborough kam in unseren Raum. Scary Guy plauderte mit ihm, lächelte ihn an, bot ihm ein Sandwich an. Scary Guy sprach mit ihm und zeichnete irgendetwas. Der Junge gab immer nur Laute wie und aha und von sich. Allmählich, so nach 20, 25 Minuten, brachten wir den Jungen dazu, Ja und Nein zu sagen. Dann 2 Wörter, dann 3, dann einen Satz. Dabei ließen wir es bewenden. Scary hatte einen Eindruck von dem Jungen und dessen Problemen bekommen.
Scary had got an idea of who he was and what his issues were.
Dear Scary, hope you're okay as I'm fine. What have you been doing lately? As you may or may... What's that say? Help me. As you may or may know, I'm going... On what?
No, holiday. It says holes.
It's a what?
Holes, it's short for holiday.
Holes?
Holes.
It's a nickname for holiday? Mm-hmm. Cool. I didn't even know that, dude.